Good day to our listeners, to the other BIOFIN countries and partners working in the biodiversity finance space. My name is Abbie Trinidad, and I'm one of the senior technical advisors of BIOFIN. And today we are going to have a conversation with Anabelle Plantilla. She's the program manager of BIOFIN in the Philippines, and the focus of our conversation is using digital platforms that may raise resources for biodiversity. Welcome to the podcast, Anabelle, and thanks for agreeing to share the Philippines' experience in working with digital platforms towards resource mobilization for biodiversity. Hopefully, this conversation can be shared with other countries and they can spot opportunities, customize their own finance solutions, and also address implementation challenges. So, as I understand, the Philippines has experimented not on one, not on two, but on four digital platforms. So, can you tell us about the 4 digital platforms that you have worked on?
All right. The first one is actually crowdfunding. I'm sure everybody knows what crowdfunding is. It's the collection of small amounts of money from the crowd or the general public towards a project using an online platform. So we did that. The next one is we are working with the largest mobile wallet in the Philippines. It's Gcash. They have a function within the app. It's called G-Forest, which allows their users, which is, there are 76 million registered users, or about 67% of the population of the country. So when they can use G-Forest to help restore Philippine forests. The third digital platform that we're using is we're exploring the sale of non-fungible tokens. So what are NFTs? They are blockchain tokens that represent a unique asset. It's either art or music, which they can own themselves. So that's one. And the last one is we have recently launched a mobile game application called Animal Town, which of course we hope can be a stable source of resources for biodiversity conservation.
Great. So that's a broad swath of digital platforms that you have experimented on. And I'm really very interested personally to learn more about NFTs because it's something that really is very new to me. But let's start from the very beginning. Let's talk about the crowdfunding campaign.
Yes. If we recall, in 2020, there was the COVID-19 pandemic. And because of the pandemic, all the protected areas in the Philippines were close to tourism. One protected area that was hard hit was Mount Iglit-Baco Natural Park, where the critically endangered Tamaraw or water buffalo can be found. And so the result was the park had to let go of 33 wardens and 1 ranger. And so what we did was we launched a crowdfunding campaign called Together for Tamaraws to raise 6 months' worth of salaries for these furloughed wardens and ranger. We are happy to report that we were able to raise 140% of our target. And so not only were we able to give the 6 months' salaries, but we were also able to give them food and field supplies.
That's such an amazing story, Anabelle. And listeners, please note, she mentioned 140% over target, no?
Yes.
And I understand also that this crowdfunding campaign also had impacts on indigenous peoples in the area.
Yes,
right?
because all the 33 wardens are indigenous peoples. They help protect the protected area. And so we are happy to see that there is like an inclusion component in our crowdfunding campaign.
Another very attractive element of this crowdfunding campaign, for sure. But has there been any biodiversity outcome out of this crowdfunding campaign?
Yes, certainly there has been because these wardens and the ranger did not lose their jobs. They continued to patrol the protected area nonstop during the pandemic and they were able to deter some illegal activities, particularly, of course, Tamaraw poaching.
And also I understand that because of the involvement of the indigenous peoples, they even agreed to expand the buffer zone.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes, yes.
Please tell our listeners more about this.
So BIOFIN actually is working with the protected area management as well as with the Tamaraw Conservation Program. We help them develop a forest restoration plan.
Wow.
And this is part of the expansion of the core zone for the Tamaraw, because it's important that the core zone be expanded so that the population of the Tamaraws can increase. Otherwise, a very small space is not conducive to, increased population of the Tamaraw.
Great. So another very interesting feature of the crowdfunding campaign, therefore. So were there any more unexpected outcomes?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Please
There
tell
were
us
two
about
more.
it.
Because the campaign raised a lot of awareness about the Tamaraw. Some volunteers actually developed a documentary on the Tamaraw called Suwag or Suko, or in English, Strike or Surrender. So we were able, these volunteers, there was a director, there was a writer, and they did the script and filmed a documentary on the Tamaraw. The video documentary is about an hour and a half, featuring the life of a Tamaraw ranger and their relationship to the Tamaraw, including, of course, the indigenous peoples. And so this video documentary, we have turned this over to our government partner, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, and they use this video documentary to raise awareness and raise money for Tamaraw conservation. Another happy result is, as we all know, crowdfunding is a short-term response to the need for resources. We are happy to report that the lone representative of Mindoro Occidental, where Mount Siglit-Baco Natural Park can be found, she filed a House bill to ensure the security of tenure of these Tamaraw Rangers. So there is now a bill pending in Congress on the institutionalization of the Tamaraw Conservation Program. So we are happy to say that although crowdfunding is a short-term response, it has, it bore fruit. It bore a lot of fruits, because now there is a pending law to institutionalize the Tamaraw Conservation Program.
Okay, maybe you can share with our listeners, how can they spot opportunities where crowdfunding might be a very good solution for them?
Actually, to do a good crowdfunding campaign, you have to have a very good story to tell. So first is the story. And once you have identified a very good story, you need to develop a communications plan. For example, for the Together for Tamaraws, we did it for 6 months. We developed a 6-month communications plan, meaning every day we had to sustain our social media presence, because it has to be top of mind among the crowd. And then, before we did the launch, the rule of thumb is you have to raise 30% of the target, so that when you launch the campaign, you say, we only need 70%, because, already 30% has been raised.
Very practical tip.
Yes, yes. And of course, because we use online social media platforms, we need to respond to the comments. You need to really be very interactive with your audience, respond to them, and make the necessary adjustments based on the responses to your campaign. Finally, you have to report to your donors. Fulfill the promise. In the case of Together for Tamaraws, once we got the money, we distributed the money immediately as salaries to these rangers and wardens. And don't forget to say thank you to all of your donors. That is very important, so that in the next campaign that you have, you can always count on your donors.
Well, that's a very nice story, Anabelle. And for you listeners, just a little bit of a trivia. Do you know that the first crowdfunding campaign was actually launched in 1885? And yes, it was the Statue of Liberty. So the whole statue was already assembled, but they found out that they did not have sufficient money for the granite plinth. And this was the first crowdfunding campaign that was launched by Joseph Pulitzer. he published in his paper the need for further for donations, and in a matter of 5 or 6 months, they were able to get the money that they needed. So now the Statue of Liberty has its granite plinth, and just for you to know that this has been the product of a crowdfunding campaign. All right, so we end that segment by saying that there are some resources available. If you'd like to learn more about crowdfunding, there's an Outfin Lab hosted by UNDP, and there is also a crowdfunding academy. Now, in the BIOFIN website, you can always look at the resources related to crowdfunding, because we have done it not only in the Philippines, but in Costa Rica, in Thailand, and in Ecuador. So that's our crowdfunding for you, and we encourage you to learn more about it using those resources. Now, Anabelle, let's move into the next digital platform, which is Gcash or G4S. So tell us more about the G4S.
Oh, G4S is the largest mobile wallet in the Philippines.
How large?
There are 76 million registered users,
76
which is
million.
67% of the Philippine population, so more than half. So it's a very big market that Gcash has. So as a mobile wallet, you can pay bills, send money. They also have products on insurance. You can shop online, as in any mobile wallet, I'm sure, in the world. And so in 2019, I think this was a serendipitous meeting with Gcash. We met with them. We offered, we told them that, we want to engage the private sector in biodiversity conservation. I think the timing was right, because at that time, they were developing a function. It is an app within the Gcash app, because they said that their users would want to give back to the community by planting trees. And so that was a very good opportunity for BIOFIN to provide the necessary technical information that Gcash needed to develop that function, G4S, in the mobile wallet. So we provided them with all the, what kind of trees to plant, what is the rate of deforestation in the country, because that would form part, of course, of marketing G4S within the app. After that, after they launched the G4S, of course, BIOFIN was there. We facilitated a partnership between Gcash and World Wildlife Fund Philippines for the restoration of 300 hectares in Ipo watershed. So why Ipo watershed? Ipo watershed provides 98% of water supply to Metro Manila. So it's a very important watershed. World Wildlife Fund worked with the local communities there, and there are indigenous peoples there too. So again, the inclusion factor in all of our finance solutions. We are happy to report that the survival rate is about 90%.
Wow.
And so,
amazing.
BIOFIN continuously provides or recommends NGO partners to Gcash. So, and that is how we at least, explored or tumbled upon the use of mobile wallets for biodiversity conservation.
Very nice. Serendipitous.
Yes.
That's a nice word. Anyway, are there now, can you now speak about the biodiversity outcomes? Maybe how many trees have been planted, or what is the value of this reforestation campaign?
So since G4S was launched in 2019, about 1.3 million native trees have been planted throughout the country. Recently, Gcash has included the planting of mangroves too, because of course of the very good carbon sequestration feature of mangroves. And so recently we introduced another NGO to Gcash. Hopefully this will, the partnership will go through, and again, this NGO will help plant native trees. That's selected
really good,
areas. Yes.
that we have really focused on native trees instead of the fast-growing but invasive species. So that's a really good example from
Yes, I think that is also the value that BIOFIN brings into the picture, because we have the technical knowledge, at least with regards to biodiversity, and I think it's very important for us to educate our partners with regard to that.
As to your advice to countries, of course, the the Gcash, G-Forest experience was, as you said, very serendipitous. But if our other countries in BIOFIN can be more purposive, what are the signs that they can look for in order to determine whether it can be a good partnership also?
I think what is important is they do, of course, their background research, research
very good,
on
yeah.
available mobile wallets in their countries. Maybe see if there is some alignment of objectives between what BIOFIN wants to do and, of course, maybe the ESG or the environment and social and governance aspects of that mobile wallet company. And if these objectives align, I think then it's a perfect partnership. I think, you have to look at the alignment of objectives.
Okay, so I hope that has been useful, these tips from Anabelle on how to further partner with fintech firms. No? Now we move on to the third digital platform which the Philippines has developed, and this is the Animal Town. And actually, I really want to share that when we were writing the biodiversity finance plan and looking at the different finance solutions, she was really the inspiration for this Animal Town app, because I saw that, she has been very addicted to Animal Farm at that time. And I know that she has been buying even gems and she's spending money. And I said, why not? I mean, the gaming industry in the Philippines is quite huge. Everybody has a cell phone, and of course, not to mention that the Philippines is a texting capital of the world. So we thought that, why not try this? So Anabelle, please speak to our listeners about what Animal Town is all about.
So Animal Town is a free-to-play, casual mobile game application. It's a free download. You can download it from Google Play or Apple Store, free of charge. And once you download the game, you get to build a city.
Okay.
And the characters here are actually representations of endemic and endangered animals in the Philippines. So you see birds like owls, cockatoos, crocodiles, of course the Tamaraw. They were turned into characters for the game. So the game, as any gamer would know, there are daily quests so that you are able to level up. And you do certain favors, again, to speed up the leveling up. And of course, you need to buy the gems and watch the ads, because this is where the revenue comes in. So I encourage those who will download the game, please buy the gems and watch all the ads, because this is how we are able to earn money. So there, I buy the gems. And then what is also important in this game is that it provides trivia on biodiversity conservation. So you are not just entertained, you're also educated. You will know about the threats to biodiversity, you will know about the actions towards biodiversity conservation. You get to know some information about the species found in the Philippines. So again, it's entertaining and educational.
I am now very much entertained, Anabelle, really. So tell us, who will receive the funds, and how do you decide which projects are going to be funded from the proceeds of the game?
Okay, since the government cannot receive money, and BIOFIN, because we are just a project, as well as the United Nations Development Program, cannot receive money, we identified, jointly with our government partner, an external fund manager whose bank account has been given to Google Play and Apple Store, so that all the revenues are directed to that bank account. So they will manage the revenues, and hopefully the revenues can also help improve the game. And where will this be directed? Our government partner, the Biodiversity Management Bureau, has identified some species, birds, animals, and maybe, trees or plants, as well as protected areas which really do not have a lot of funding as beneficiaries of the revenues from the mobile game app.
That's really nice that you've thought about the end-to-end for this gaming app. So what are the next steps?
The next steps are, we need to really push the downloads. because we need a big base of players so that we realize the income that we want to have, or at least the target for the game. And so definitely we're having this global launch on July 4.
Don't forget, July 4.
July 4.
Everybody join the launch.
Yes. It will just be 30 minutes. It will be an online launch. And we have taken into consideration, of course, all our time zones. So definitely it will not be very inconvenient for all of you to join the online launch. And then after that, we have lined up a series of marketing activities in the Philippines, attending Comic-Cons, participating in activities of NGOs as well as government agencies. Hopefully maybe going around schools to promote the game.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Anabelle. And you listeners, don't forget about the launch on July 4. Please download the game, play it, watch the ads.
Buy the
so
gems.
That you can buy the gems so that you can contribute to biodiversity efforts in the Philippines. All right, so the last one would be the non-fungible token. So this is what I was really very interested in. So tell us more about it.
So these are blockchain tokens representing, digital assets such as art or music. So what we did was we chose photographs. We commissioned Noel Guevara. He is a very popular videographer and photographer in the Philippines. He is actually a National Geographic explorer. He took photos of wildlife into Bataha Reefs Natural Park, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, last month to herald the International Day of Biodiversity celebration. We organized an auction. So we auctioned 5 pieces of his 5 photographs, which we were able to sell that night. However, we also have a bigger portfolio of his photos, which is available online. It's hiraya.art.com, where people can look at the entire portfolio and buy art. Again, once you buy the art, you will be given a non-fungible token. So that means it belongs to you. It's permanently assigned to you. But in the future, you can also sell it, or if the value increases, you can sell it. So that's NFTs. We intend to raise. The target is about $135,000. We were able to sell about $5,000 worth. Again, we need to promote this the entire portfolio. We already have lined up a series of activities to promote the NFTs too.
Great. So it seems as if this is something that other countries can easily do, no? Because we all have our art experts, in our country. So you think that's also something
Yes, actually, our partner here is called Unit 256. They are an art tech enterprise. I'm sure in the other countries you do have your art tech enterprises too. What we did was we partnered with them, of course, did all necessary due diligence before the partnership was cemented. And so, again, it is important to align objectives. So it's not just profit, but we said that we want, there has to be some advocacy related to the event.
Great. So, thanks so much, Anabelle, for sharing all of your experience on these 4 digital platforms. And I hope you have all also been engaged and interested in this aspect of biodiversity financing. So hopefully you can pick up a lot of nuggets from this conversation and apply it to your country. So good luck to all. Thanks again, Anabelle, and hope the 4 finance solutions will continue to prosper and bear fruits. Thanks very much, and thanks for joining us today.